back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be reading Ivy and Bean and the Ghost That Had to Go chapter, let's see. Chapter 3. Okay, let's get started. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. And I'm going to make sure that you do, because I'm going to know. So make sure that I'm going to give you 10 seconds to make that subscribe button gray instead of red. Okay, let's get started. Ready, set, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. If you guys got it, comment down below and I'll read your comment. Okay, let's get started. Ivy and Bean and the Ghost That Had to Go. Who's that ugly guy? Even before Ivy and Bean were friends, they had both been in Mrs. Ervitate's second grade class. They didn't sit together, but after the day they threw worms at Bean's sister, Nancy, they asked Miss Ervitate if they could share a table. Miss Ervitate just loved it when people were friends. She smiled and said, "That's wonderful, girls. The two of you will be a great team. After a minute, though, she added, "But if there's talking, I'm going to have to separate you." So far, Ivy and Bean had been separated 6 times. This was not a big surprise. Bean had been separated from everyone in the class at least once, no matter who she sat next to. Bean talked. Even McAdam, who mostly talked to himself, had to be separated from Bean. Once, Miss Ervitate had Bean sit by herself, but Bean just talked louder. Bean tried not to talk. She promised not to talk, but every day she talked. Mostly she was trying to be helpful. She was trying to explain things to kids who didn't understand. For example, regrouping. Eric didn't understand regrouping. Miss Ervitate had explained it, but he didn't understand it. So he added instead of subtracting. Bean couldn't stand to watch him add when she knew he was supposed to subtract. Just knowing that he was adding made it impossible for her to do her own subtraction. She had to tell him that he was doing it wrong. She had to tell him how to do it. Bean is only responsible for Bean, Miss Ervitate kept saying. But Bean thought that wasn't true, because Miss Ervitate also keeps saying that a class was like a family, and other families were responsible for each other. When Bean pointed this out, Miss Ervitate opened her mouth and then closed it again. Ivy was very quiet. She was the quietest kid in the class, so Miss Ervitate kept putting Bean back with Ivy. "I think she hopes it will rub off on me," Bean explained to her mom, but so far it hasn't. Even though she hadn't learned how to be quiet, Bean had learned a lot by sitting next to Ivy. One thing she had learned was that Ivy wasn't as quiet as she seemed. She just talked so softly that no one could hear her. After lunch, the second graders had science. They were doing a unit on dinosaurs. Bean's favorite were the ones that had big bony skulls. They cracked together when they fought. Ivy liked the bird dinosaurs with feathers and sharp claws and red eyeballs. Today the second graders were learning about swimming dinosaurs. Actually, they weren't dinosaurs at all. Miss Ervitate saying, these prehistoric creatures are called marine reptiles. One marine reptile is Pteranodon, Eric hollered, waving his arm in the air. Pelosaur, breathed Ivy, so only Bean could hear her. Pelosaur, said Bean out loud. I like the way that Emma is raising her hand. Emma, said Miss Herbitate. Emma stared at her. I forgot, Miss Herbitate said. Bean, will you repeat what you said? Polinosaur, said Bean. Ivy said it really. Thank you, Ivy, said Bean. And thank you, Ivy and Bean, said Miss Herbitate. Then she held up a picture of something that looked like a whale and a giraffe glued together. Who's that ugly guy? Do you sit? Shouted. Then he laughed so hard that he fell out of his chair. Do you sit? Will you please go sit on the rug? Said Miss Herbitate. Do you sit? Hollered Eric. He fell out of his chair too. Miss Herbitate put the picture down in her lap. Class, if you can't make more mature decisions, I will have to put our marine reptile materials away, she said. Is that what I should do? No, the second grade muttered, feeling ashamed. They loved marine reptiles, and they loved Miss Herbitate. Miss Herbitate smiled. She held up the picture. Now, the largest of the Polinosaurs was the Esalamsaur. As you can see in this picture, it had an extremely long neck. Does anyone have a theory about why such a long neck would be useful? You could wrap it around somebody's body and squeeze them until they were dead, yelled Andrew. Like this. He put his arm around Vicina's neck and began to squeeze. Just stop that! I wasn't going to do it for real. I was just showing. Bean raised her hand. Maybe they could reach up out of the water and eat birds or something. That's an interesting theory, Bean, said Miss Herbitate. Does anyone else have a theory? Other way around, Ivy murmured. What? Said Bean. They reached down under the water, breathed Ivy. Ivy has a theory, Miss Herbitate said. Bean, do you want to share it with the rest of us? Ivy has a theory, Miss Herbitate said. Bean. Do you want to share it with the rest of us, Ivy? Asked Miss Herbitate. The Elasmosaur probably used its long neck to go down to the seafloor and eat stuff there, said Ivy softly. Very good thinking, you two, Miss Herbitate smiled. And Drew, your theory may be correct as well. Well, please leave Vicina alone, but unfortunately we have no way of proving these theories one way or the other. Since the Elasmosaur is what's the word, boys and girls? The Elasmosaur is, what's the word, boys and girls? Extinct, they hollered. Except for the Loch Ness Monster, said Ivy softly. Yes, Ivy, said Miss Herbitate. Can you name another type of marine reptile? Said Ivy. She was stuck. Miss Herbitate probably didn't believe in the Loch Ness Monster. Ivy couldn't think of any other marine reptiles. I said, can I go to the bathroom? Oh, said Miss Erbitate, go along. After the door had closed behind Ivy, Bean waved her hand in the air. Miss Erbitate, I have to go too. Are you sure, Bean? Asked Miss Erbitate. Yes, bad! Bean held her breath, trying to turn her face red. If your face was red, Miss Erbitate usually let you go. Miss Erbitate still looked doubtful. Go on then, but come back ASAP. ASAP was Miss Erbitate's word for fast. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. And I am gonna go get Buddy for him to say goodbye. I'll be right back. Okay, I got him. Sorry to go off camera, but he wasn't in here. Love you guys so much. Make sure to like and subscribe down below. I'll see you guys later. Bye!